I've noticed a concerning trend lately of top-of-the-line smartphones, drones, and even cars not being sold here in the USA. For example, this smartphone, the Oppo Find X Ultra, has camera sensors that are 62% larger than anything Apple or Samsung has, and we aren't allowed to buy it. Not to mention improvements on the battery, screen, waterproofing, and Wi-Fi. Today I'm hoping that we find some fatal flaws in this X8 Ultra so that hopefully we can feel a little better about never getting to use it. We already know that Oppo is using Gorilla Glass, but they don't exactly say which version. We also know that the iPhone 16 Pro Max has the pixel density of 460 pixels per inch. The Samsung S25 Ultra is slightly higher at 498, but this Find X Ultra comes out on top with 510 pixels per inch. Still scratches at a level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7, but those extra pixels are kinda nice. The Find X8 Ultra is running Android 14 and has a very similar hole-punch style front-facing camera to the S25 Ultra. But instead of 12 megapixels like Samsung or Apple, this guy is 32, with a larger internal sensor. Larger sensors typically take better pictures, and I'm sensing a theme here. The sides of the phone are made from an anodized aluminum. Oppo has added their own version of the camera control button that sits flush with the frame. It's scratchable and does the whole zoomy in-y thing. While technically the X8 Ultra can zoom in 120 times, I'll let you check out MKBHD's video for the camera quality shots. Personally, now that I've used it for 3 seconds, we can all just move on. Which is pretty much what everyone who tried Apple's new buttons said as well. The buttons are not removable from the phone body. At the top of the phone we have some microphones, as well as an IR blaster, which neither Apple nor Samsung are offering. There's another button on the left side, a programmable shortcut button. Kinda nifty. The bottom of the phone has a loudspeaker port, which has the waterproofing mesh protected by the exterior frame. There's a 100-watt USB-C port. Apple and Samsung both top out at 25 watts and 45 watts respectively. And there's a removable dual SIM card tray for international travel, which is nice, since in order to even get this phone, you gotta travel internationally. However, swapping physical SIM cards is a bit of a hassle, so it's nice that so many smartphones have eSIM capabilities. Today's sponsor, Saley, is taking full advantage of that feature to offer incredibly inexpensive international data roaming plans for more than 200 global destinations. There's no more dealing with scammers or dead SIM cards at airports or waiting in lines in strange places to activate a new SIM card. Everything happens automatically within seconds right in the Saley mobile app. Plus, Saley has included an ad blocker so your precious data doesn't get wasted on ads. Except for this ad, obviously, since this ad is what's going to save you money the next time you travel. Currently, the data plans only work for data, which is why they're so inexpensive, but messages through WhatsApp, Viber, and Signal are all included. Get an exclusive 15% discount on Saley data plans. Just use the code JERRYRIG at checkout, or download the Saley app with the QR code on screen, or go to saley.com/jerryrig. They've got 24/7 round-the-clock customer support because the sun is always shining somewhere. And maybe with Saley you can travel to countries where top-of-the-line smartphones exist, like this X8 Ultra. Where was I? Ah yeah, the flash. It looks like we have a dual LED, dual tone flash in the upper left corner of the back glass. And that back panel is indeed glass, and unscratchable by my razor blade. The best part about this phone though isn't the back glass. The pied de résistance, or whatever they say in France, where this phone is also not sold, is the massive camera units inside the camera circle. Now, historically I make fun of camera bumps for being too large, but this X8 Ultra appears to be very efficiently using the space. We'll find out when we open her up. They call this a Sky Dome, and it contains a suite of 5 different cameras. An absolutely epic 50 megapixel 1-inch camera sensor, a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle, 50 megapixel 6x periscope, and a 50 megapixel 3x telephoto. There's also a 5th color spectrum sensor, which doesn't really count as a camera, but still impressive. All surrounded by a large circular silver metal ring, which is not removable. Now, I've already talked about pixel density, but this 6.8-inch LTPO AMOLED peaks out at 2,500 nits and is 1440p, and can display 1 billion colors at 120 Hz, which honestly is pretty on par with what Apple and Samsung have going on right now. There's not been much improvement in the screen technology space for the past few years. I mean, yeah, Apple said they'd double stack some OLED panels, but you already forgot they did that, which proves my point. The X8 Ultra lasts for 35 seconds under the heat from my lighter, but has no visible blemishes or marks on the surface of the screen. And while beating Samsung and Apple in nearly every category, this X8 Ultra is also cheaper at $900. Obviously, that's not including any tariffs or anything, which by not selling in the USA they get to avoid, and maybe they also thought they could avoid the jerry-rig bin test. But nope, they can't. There's no damage when bent from the back, but flipping it around and applying pressure from the front causes separation along the antenna line between the power button and volume rocker. It's only a minor separation though, and not any catastrophic damage. The phone continues to lock out, even despite its newfound crack in the frame, and does not get damaged any farther. The Find X8 structurally survives my bin test, albeit with a new cosmetic defect, which also probably ruined their IP69 waterproofing rating. This X8 Ultra has both IP68 and 6.9 water ratings, which neither Samsung nor iPhone are doing on their flagships. The back panel does come off pretty easily though, with enough heat and my jerry-rig razor knife. The large camera lens comes up with the glass. And holy moly, this really is the first ever smartphone that justifies its camera bump. The 1-inch sensor, which normally is only found in dedicated handheld cameras, is a really big boy. But not only that, the wide angle and 120x telephoto camera also have record-breakingly large footprints of their own. I'll turn off the X8 Ultra before we get too far ahead of ourselves. There are a total of 22 normal Phillips head screws holding in the upper and lower plastics. The bottom loudspeaker does have plenty of balls inside, and while the 50-watt wireless charging coil looks pretty normal, remember the iPhone and Samsung coils are only 15 watts, with 4.5-watt reverse wireless charging. And this coil on the X8 Ultra can reverse wireless charge at 10 watts. We'll do a side-by-side split-open camera sensor comparison here in a second. It'll be interesting since Samsung's top-of-the-line flagship is almost 60% smaller. But first we gotta get the camera units out. I'll unplug the 6,100 mAh battery. Apple and Samsung have a much smaller 4,685 and 5,000 mAh batteries respectively. This Ultra battery does come out cleanly and easily from the phone though, thumbs up for that. We're all looking at you, Pixel. It's a dual cell silicon carbon battery, which definitely helps with the 100-watt charging speeds. It's like charging up 2 batteries at once, since it is charging up 2 batteries at once. There is one more screw on the motherboard, and then the 4 remaining cameras can come on up. There's almost more camera real estate in here than motherboard real estate. The 1-inch camera has OIS, the ultra-wide does not, the telephoto does, and supposedly the periscope camera also has OIS, it's just internal, which is normal. I can unplug the large sensors just like little Legos, all of them except for the upper telephoto camera, which has an extra metal trap door over the Lego-style connector. I thought that was interesting. Before we tear open the 1-inch sensor though, I kind of forgot about the charging port. There are no additional screws holding it down, and it does have the red waterproofing rubber ring around the 100-watt USB-C port. The dual SIM card tray is on the underside, and we can see the loudspeaker opening has the waterproofing mesh over the hole, and the microphone has its own white membrane to keep water out, all of which rests next to the rectangular haptic feedback vibrator. All things we've seen before for the most part. However, having a camera unit the size of a quarter is worth zooming in on. This year's S25 Ultra already looks outdated in comparison, even though they were only released a few months apart. The iPhone 16 Pro Max obviously came out last year, but its sensor is basically the same size as this S25 Ultra, so you can pretend this sensor is from either phone. The X8 Ultra has them both beat by more than 60%. Imagine if something you own just got 60% larger, like a candy bar or your house or your commute to work. 60% is a massive change. And in the case of a camera sensor, larger is better. The sensor's job is to capture light, and the more surface area a camera sensor has, the better it is able to do its job of getting more detail, perform better in low light, and get better zooms and crops. Taking a look at the X8 Ultra and S25 Ultra camera sensors side by side, there is a clear winner. Obviously, other things play a role, like glass lenses and software, but it's definitely easier to run a race when you get a 60% head start over the competition. I'm just going to throw it all back in the phone, and we'll see what happens when I try to take a picture with it. I am glad that Oppo is pushing the limits and doing something new, and I hope that a bit of outside pressure keeps Apple and Samsung on their toes, because competition is always a good thing for consumers. And would you look at that? Everything still works. Even the camera app appears to still be functioning, except for when I go to take a picture, it freezes up. Which does make sense. I imagine there's some data sharing between all the cameras, and the team captain is now decapitated. Either way, cool phone, cool price, and you're cool for staying till the end. Thanks a ton for watching, and I'll see you around.